Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you are watching the video from. In this particular video, I want us to look at the behind the scene observations which I personally made during Raila Odinga's Kamukunji rally. And I'm going to look at four things. The first thing I'm going to look at is the reception. How was Raila Odinga received at the airport? How was he received at the venue? The other thing I'm going to look at is Raila Odinga's response to Rigathi Gachagua and William Samoei Arap Ruto. Because remember, before Raila Odinga came back, William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua had actually made him their pet subject, especially during their last rally in Kirinyaga. So I want us to look briefly how Raila Odinga responded to the two. The third thing we are going to look at is Raila Odinga's game plan. Because clearly from yesterday's rally and Raila Odinga's speech, you can predict Raila Odinga's game plan, what is planning after this particular rally. And then the last thing we're going to look at is the 2027 politics. So before we do all those, in case you are watching the channel for the first time, I want you guys to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let us get back to the main issue. And as usual, for those who normally do this, you know what we do. You know what you do. So let us proceed. And let us begin by reception. How was Raila Odinga received? Let us begin at the airport. How was Raila Odinga received at the airport?
Jambo mheshimiwa.
That's good. How are you?
Watu wanataka namna gani? Watu wanapenda kunisumbua. Wanataka namna gani? Nimekujia president, nani analeta shida? Nani analeta shida hapa? Kuna mtu analeta shida hapa?
Watu wanakuona.
Wanione tu mimi ni huyu, sijabadilika. Dahadi wa baba. Nani analeta shida? Na sasa
wa youth amtetezi umejipangaje leo?
mimi kwanza nimekuwa Kakamega. Niliposikia simu ya president, nimekuja mbio sana. Afadhali hata bibi akae ni welcome president. So tumejipanga, hatuna vita. Sisi tumekuja na amani na wanazimio wako na amani. Na mwenye anataka vurugu ataona vurugu. Na kama utaki furugu, acha tuchukue president tuzunguke town hii, town ni hapa.
For me, I was following this event, and the moment I saw supporters at the airport, that was the moment I knew that the Kamukunji ground rally was going to be a huge success. But let us not look at the reception at the airport per se. Let us look at the people who received Raila Odinga at the airport. The first person there was Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. If you ask me, the presence of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka at the airport to receive Raila Odinga just like this is significant. Number one, Kalonzo Musyoka is the Wiper Party leader. Kalonzo Musyoka managed to lock Ruto out of Ukambani. Kalonzo Musyoka was not Raila Odinga's running mate in the last election. Kalonzo Musyoka is not known to play the kind of politics Raila Odinga is currently trying to play. So for me, the presence of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, in my view, is geared towards 2027 general election. Kalonzo Musyoka is hoping that he can actually appeal to the hearts and the emotions of Raila Odinga supporters. Personally, if elections were to be held today, I would vote for Kalonzo Musyoka. And I've always told a few guys that if Raila Odinga wants to be in government, the best thing he can do is to have Kalonzo Musyoka as a presidential candidate. Then he can become a running mate. If he can't become a running mate, then he can propose someone to be Kalonzo Musyoka's running mate. Then him and Uhuru can then push that ticket. That ticket can easily defeat Kenya Kwanza. So Kalonzo Musyoka is thinking towards those lines. The other person who was there was Martha Karua. Why is Martha Karua's presence significant? Because she was Raila Odinga's running mate in the last election. And therefore, it shows that Azimio is still united. Then there was Eugene Wamalwa. Whenever I see Eugene Wamalwa, I see the hands of Uhuru Kenyatta. Because most people don't know. Before Uhuru Kenyatta settled last minute on William Ruto, he had settled on Eugene Wamalwa as his running mate. And that's why Eugene Wamalwa and Ruto are never on the same page. Eugene believes that William Ruto actually robbed him the opportunity of becoming the vice president or the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Then the other guy who was there was Wajakoya V. For me, if you ask me, the presence of Wajakoya V is also significant. Wajakoya, in my view, I'm looking at it from two perspectives. I'm looking at it from the perspective of national politics. I'm also looking at it from the Kakamega politics. Wajakoya brings the youth votes. If you look at the last general election, Wajakoya got some votes, despite the fact that he was on his own. The fact that he entered into the hearts of Kenyans, despite the fact that they never voted for him. In fact, it's just a matter, the truth is Wajakoya did not get votes because we had two horses. Otherwise, Wajakoya became a darling of majority of Kenyans. There are people who never voted for Wajakoya, but if they had opportunity, they would vote for him. There are people who loved Ruto, but they listened to Wajakoya. If you ask them what Wajakoya stood for, they will tell you. So most of these people were actually the youths. At some point, it was alleged that Wajakoya was being used to deny Ruto the youths. So for me, I'm tending to think that the presence of Wajakoya is that Raila Odinga is planning to use Wajakoya to bring that kind of imagination into Azimio. And that's going to be fresh air. The other way I'm looking at Wajakoya is that of late I've been observing Wajakoya. Wajakoya is going to be the next senator for Kakamega. Wajakoya the fifth is going to be the next senator of Kakamega. Raila Odinga is already plotting for Kakamega. Boni Alwale managed to win the Senate because ODM as a party did not have a strong, in quotes, candidate who could compete with Boni Alwale. The truth is, William Ruto will still front Malala as the governor. Raila now will bring on board Wajakoya as the Senate candidate. And that will be game shot for me. And the other person who was here is Jeremiah Kioni. For me, the presence of Jeremiah Kioni is actually the presence of Jubilee. He's the Secretary General of Jubilee Party. Currently, Jeremiah Kioni is the only person who is still supporting Uhuru Kenyatta, especially from the big wigs who are in Jubilee. So I see the hands of Uhuru, or I see Uhuru when I see Jeremiah Kioni attending these particular events. So that's all about reception. Then at the airport. Now let us move to the grounds. How was Raila Odinga received at the grounds? For me, the ground reception was also massive. What does it tell you? That Raila Odinga is still loved. You can't ignore him. That's a fact. Why am I saying this? That rally was on a Monday. Monday is a working day. Kenyans still found time and turned up. You can argue that Kenyans don't have jobs. Then it means they were just right to attend Raila Odinga's rally. Number two, if you look at it from another perspective, the attendance at down there, it means Raila Odinga still has that mojo. And basically moving forward, he can still manage to play the game the way William Ruto wants. And in fact, based on what happened yesterday, most of Raila Odinga supporters now believe that that's the Raila Odinga they know, not the one which was in Azimio. So for me, Raila Odinga was well received, and that's a strong statement to Kenya Kwanza. Now let us look at the second part, which is response to Ruto and Rigathi. Now Raila Odinga decided to respond to Ruto, and he decided to respond to Rigathi Gachagua. On Ruto, Raila Odinga was very clear that he's not interested on handshake. William Ruto has been advancing the handshake narrative. So Raila Odinga was very clear, I don't want anything to do with the handshake. Then, for those who follow politics, Rigathi Gachagua, during their prayer rally or political rally in Kirinyaga, made it very clear that Ruto should leave Raila Odinga to him, the son of Mamau, to deal with him. Raila Odinga also got the opportunity to respond to that. That is not playing in the league of Rigathi Gachagua. And by the way, who is Rigathi Gachagua? When you talk of Rigathi Gachagua, the first thing which comes to your mind, number one for me, is the DO. Number two is the late brother. And of course now the deputy president, of course is Rigiji, is also coming to mind. But when did Rigathi Gachagua join politics? When? Any political achievement. So you can't really compare Rigathi to Raila. And Raila reminded him about that Mau Mau he's bragging about, and Raila had to drag the name of Jaramogi and the name of Kenyatta. Why do you think Raila dragged the name of Kenyatta? I mean, the name of Mau Mau, and then dragged the father? He was targeting the Kikuyu nation. And let us look at number 3, which is the game plan. What is Raila Odinga's game plan? If you want to understand Raila Odinga's game plan moving forward, then you just need to go and read or pay close attention to the 8 demands they were posting. One of them is the Ruto to resign, not recognizing Ruto to resign, all those, Wafula Chebukati, IBC, all those. So it means moving forward, Raila Odinga has identified issues and is likely to narrow them down, and these are the issues they're going to take to the people. That William Ruto is not their president, especially to his supporters. He's also going to tell them that Wafula Chebukati bungled the election. He's also going to tell them that they should not pay taxes, that they should resist this government. So basically, let us wait and see how all these things are going to unfold. In fact, on Raila Odinga's game plan after Jacaranda, I'm going to do another analysis. And let us look at the 2027 politics. If you ask me, and I could be wrong, listening to Raila Odinga's speech, Kalonzo Musyoka's speech, I tend to think that Raila Odinga has one main aim. That aim is not to remove Ruto from power. That aim is to make life very difficult for William Ruto. And therefore, they are going to create a momentum. And, you know, it's always easy to oppose. Like Ruto found it easy to oppose Uhuru and Raila and the handshake. It's also going to be easy for Raila Odinga to oppose this government, because this government is going to commit several mistakes here and there. They are going to fail in one area or the other. So Raila Odinga is planning to take advantage of those and then sustain the 2027 politics. What I'm not sure about is whether Raila Odinga will actually be running again or whether he's going to support somebody. But for me, if you ask me, all these things Raila Odinga are doing, is doing them because of the 2027 politics. He's creating a momentum, and he's hoping that he can maintain that momentum. It's kind of a playbook which William Ruto used on them in the last election, where Ruto started opposing Uhuru Kenyatta. Immediately, Uhuru Kenyatta was sworn in as for the second term of the presidency. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.